live. Says we're live. Says we're live. We're gonna wait until we're live. We're gonna start the podcast soon. Okay. AEW is Jericho because he won the championship. First
Still
ever.
wrestling.
Still wrestling. Still wrestling. We got this. Now live. Yes, we are live. Volume. All right. Yes, we're good to go. Audio is on. You want to start? Let's go.
Another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday. That's my Sunday.
Cari amici sportivi. Hello, Ricky Kaka on YouTube. Welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, going from week 2, going to Calcio Mercato, the Mercato Madness, as Steve would like to say. David Better, hello, Liban Youssef. Good day, everybody on the YouTube machine. It is Labor Day here in Canada. United States as well. Stevie P, Vinny T, and we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Guys, got a lot of things to go through today. Yes, it is Labor Day for us Canadians and us Americans. That's why we're doing a afternoon kind of live podcast. But Steve was impegnado, as we say. He had to go collect some stuff from the garden, from Mama Vera's garden.
Yes.
She made you something to eat. You had to stay over there. But now we're here. And we got a special guest from Toronto a bit later on, Sabrina Belmonte. We're going to be joining us. We're going to be obviously calling Tommy. And when I call Tommy, like with the schedule changes, no problem. He's going to be available. He's going to be available. Steve, Presidente understood last week. Only gave us a couple of presidential points because we got a lot to go through. And what's going on over here? What's going on? Where's the sound coming from? I think it was going from your computer. Anyways, so we had a good time on Saturday. Went to watch the game. Milan Brescia. We have a good, 10, 12 guys there at the game.
Very nice turnout. For game two, very nice turnout.
Yes, and other than we needed the 3 points, and that's the only thing that counted.
3 points.
3 points, and that's about it. But look, guys, we're gonna get into the discussion of the game. We're gonna get into your questions on Twitter. We're gonna get into your live YouTube comments. But before we do that, Steve, obviously, as majority of our listeners and viewers have proclaimed on the social media world, that
On the internet.
that they like your presidential points, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with AEW's first ever champion, Jericho, right over here. AEW is Jericho, Steve, which, as you could see from the YouTube, he does not really care. But before we get into these 2 presidential points, because he understood, it is Labor Day, Steve, and it coincides with the Mercato closing. So please, Steve, bring out your inner Bob Ross, and please paint us a picture.
The Presidente, as we all know, dislikes Mercato Madness.
He does?
Yeah, he dislikes it, but, Vinny, because it's Labor Day, everybody, regular people, have a day off. But Presidente does not take a day off.
He does not.
No. So he's calculating. He doesn't like Mercato Madness, the drama. He likes when everything comes in and is concrete, where he can send out snippets and screenshots from the contracts being deposited into Serie A so that they become official.
He doesn't go by what he reads on the papers.
He gets it straight from the source.
Okay.
So as he was pulling out all his wax paper figurines and the cords that tie 2 teams together with the circumference of squads that these players could go to, he was able to get the fax machine back in order, and he was able to send out faxes to all the Milan club members, letting them know this is now concrete. This is not a rumor. This is now concrete. Zang, 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 zang. That's what you got, guys. You got that kind of action going on. And he also embodied his inner Mercato self. So he got the cologne on, the Malizia Uomo green was on, and he embodies his Mercato self to close as many deals as possible for Milan Club Montreal, Vinny, where he's taking out the fax machine. He's like, what's your size? T-shirt size, very important. Email address, very important. Address, just in case we have to send them a postcard.
But are, can we not sign other people after September 2nd?
No, he takes it very bad. He wanted to make one big order of all the Milan Club Montreal members, and you saw him working his action on game day 1, which we will probably see him next on game day 34. And as he was signing these contracts, all of these beautiful presidential points came to him. And now that we've given him a limit of 2, Vinny, he is bound by this miraculous epiphany that comes to him and gives us these fantastic 2 presidential points for us to discuss on this fantastic Milan Weekly podcast, where we go live on YouTube.
That's thank you for that, because yes, to all Milan Club members, it is news to me. You have until today to sign up, because the president has to write up your contracts and hand them over
Our
to
is
the.
going to send out an official statement after that.
All right, guys. So speaking of presidential points, I hope you guys there on the YouTube world, you hear us well. Everything's okay. You see Steve's beautiful face. Everything's good. But we're gonna go directly into the presidential points, and his first presidential point, I think he's taking shots at me.
It's very possible.
Borini. I was expecting a title as in Capitan Futuro Borini, but hey, there are many fans who feel Borini doesn't deserve to play. Yet for Giampaolo, that is not the case. Giampaolo gave a hint on what Borini's role is. I give Borini a task that he did well up to now, because he is dedicated and has a good leg. Question: what do you guys think that task is exactly? Jack of all trades? Running back? I don't, guys. I don't know why he's putting Borini in. He's got to have his reasons. Just the way, everybody was ready to shit on Andrea Silva starting, but I don't know why nobody other than us going, guys, did you ever stop and think that maybe he was just trying to show him that he's fit, he's ready to go, to try to sell him? There's always 2 sides to the story, and it's just unfortunate that Milan
Faithful.
the faithful on the internets seem to be always jumping to conclusions and never thinking about, wait, there might be a second side to the story. But how about you, Steve? What do you think Borini's role was, or has he been doing it well?
I think his role, if I put myself in Giampaolo's shoes, I have no problem with Borini coming in at the 80th minute. No problem at all. He works his ass off. He knows what he has to do. He knows his limitations. Unfortunately, it almost backfired on us, because he found himself in a very good position to put us 2-0 up, and it did not happen. But that's not his role.
No.
He's not putting him in to score goals. Now, it's always a benefit. It's always a positive. But I think his role is to shore up that side of the field where we know that there's someone who's covering for someone who might be a little bit more offensive, whether it will be Paquetá, whether it be Chanalobulu on that side, whether it's going to be Giacomo Bonaventura, just to give them some sort of, hey, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of this portion of the field. Go do what you have to do in the other portions of the field.
And in the end, guys,
It can't be much more than that.
We'll see, the Mercato in the day, which touches into the second question. But again, there's got to be a reason why he made these decisions. Let's respect the fact that, yes, he might not have a trophy in his case, or doesn't have maybe the Serie A experience that everybody wants him to have. But
he doesn't have that flowery, lovely Serie A experience. But he's been down in the dumps. He's been down in the grassroots where it all started. So he sees a player with Borini's limitation.
Yeah.
Now, starting him, week one, I'm not gonna go back on my word. I think it was a mistake.
Mhm.
I don't. I am pretty sure he has his reasons for it. But guys, Borini coming in at 80th minute at the 80th minute is not a bad substitution.
It's just, like, let's again, if we've said let's trust in our coach. The first game, we're not gonna change our minds from game two. And I'm going back to, like I was telling a lot of the Milan Club Montreal members, I give it 10 games. Give me the first judgment will be after 10 games. So just give them a chance and we'll go. Now we got 2 weeks off, which we love that, right? So
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks a lot.
and touching into point number two, you know what? We're going to call Sabrina. We're going to ask her what she thinks. Because point number two goes, what are your thoughts of the Mercato that finally ended today? Did it meet your expectations? Why or why not? So let's go find out. She's a friend from Tirana. So let's go give her a call right now. This is not a long distance call because we do have Canada-wide calling here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Hello.
Hello, Sabrina. Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast live. You're live on YouTube. Well, we're live on YouTube. Your voice is live on YouTube. We're recording right now. Please, first and foremost, how are you on this fine Labor Day Monday?
I am great. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic.
Fantastic. I have a stomach full of gnocchi. I had about 13 porpetti. I had 2 cotolette, 1 or 2 ribs in sauce.
No, but that's
Just the rib, not the full rack.
no,
I had the rib.
that's acceptable. It's acceptable.
A little bit of salad and a piece of cake.
a little bit of salad.
Yeah, just salad of green, just to say I had some green.
Just to say I have some greens. Hopefully your Labor Day was as good as Steve's. But Sabrina, before we ask you the second presidential point, why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself, where you can find you on Twitter, and how does your connection to Milan, where did it started, and where are you at right now?
I'm based in Toronto, the Toronto area, member of the Milan Club Toronto. I'm guessing Mauricio is tuning into this to give a little shout out to the club. I am like President, I'm an accountant, so really nothing involved in the soccer world. But I got involved in Milan just through my father. He's a lifelong Milan fan, all his brothers, his father. And luckily I took after that side because my mom's dad is a Napoli fan because he lived close there, but also a Juve fan. So kind of glad I didn't have to inherit that fandom over there.
Yes, and we're fortunate. Thank you very much for that. It's just like Steve's family that was all Juventine, and he just went with his aunt that was she was a sister nun, and she went with Il Diavolo. So and where can people find you on the Twitter machine?
My handle on Twitter is SabriB10.
SabriB10, guys. Followers, always some good writings there on Milan, and very few of the women Milan followers and writers. So yeah, give her a follow, guys. It's always entertaining. And we'd like to say hello to Khaled, and we have Hypcher and Kieran Newton from Cape Town, South Africa.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're gonna go through those questions very soon, guys. Thank you for joining on YouTube. But question from Presidente. I'm gonna ask you, Sabrina. We like to be like on the spot. What are your thoughts on the Mercato that finally ended today? Did it meet your expectations? Why or why not? We're putting you in the hot seat.
Well, I think we all need to realize that the days of us, winning the Champions League and having a chance at the Champions League every year is temporarily gone. So we're not going to go and have a Mercato and pick up Messi and Ronaldo and all these top players. So we knew the management had said we're trying to pick up young players that'll grow into our project. And I think that we've done that. And I mean, it's one Mercato. You can't expect to solve all our problems in one Mercato. So I think for the first Mercato with a new coach, new management, I'm pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, I think Sabrina is like with meeting, not meeting the expectations. Steve is always, manage your expectations, and we're expecting to do a big splash here, a big splash there, but in the end, got rid of Andrea Silva for somebody that Rebic, which has the Serie A experience when he played with Fiorentina. So we'll see. we'll see what goes on from over there. Massimo saying on YouTube that Milan Maldini presently trying to sign Kwame from Genoa. Isn't the mercato
That
closed?
would be a killer end to the mercato.
But then again, it's like if we do go Kwame, like what do we give up? Like what does Leao stand in all this? And I think a lot of the questions where you went to go to Rebic and all these attacking players, and it's like where does Leao fit? And I know he's young, and maybe I don't know. In the management we trust, right? And I'm gonna ask her what her thoughts are on Borini. Borini's comments. Gianpaolo saying that he did his role well, and I asked him to do a certain thing. What do you think of Borini starting 2 games straight back to back?
He didn't start too.
Oh, sorry, he didn't start back to back. But okay, so how do you explain, or what do you think of the constant use of Fabio Borini on this Milan squad?
I think that, the fact that he started last week was probably because, not that some of the new players aren't fit. I think maybe some of the new players that come in, or even Kessier in the summer, they played in the African Cup of Nations. So they're still a bit tired. Bonaventura is just coming back from injury. We know what happens when you rush players right away. So I think Borini's just a utility player. He's obviously not too skilled, but he goes on the pitch, he gives his all. And I know for some people that's not good enough, but at the same time, last year we cried for depth. He's our depth. He works hard, and what are you going to do? You need players like that until Gianpaolo's instituted his system and everybody's working in there. Everyone's fully fit. We don't have as many injuries, and he does what he's supposed to do. He doesn't cause problems off the field. So I think it's fine to use him.
And that's an excellent point, and it's exactly that. We can't, but we could have in the past fielded 11 champions on the field, plus another 11 champions off the field.
Yeah.
That toxicity that would come up from that, where everybody wants to play and everybody wants to have a certain game type or have a certain amount of games played. That's not a team. That's just piecing together. Money buys you championships type of style, which unfortunately today's game doesn't work. So you need those types of players like Borini who know what his role is and come in at the 80th minute to close out a game.
That's it, and that's what it comes. That's what it comes down to. So people could laugh all they want, and I like to put him over a bit more than what he's worth, but in the end, he does his job right, and he's no Emmanuelson, he's no Kevin Constant, and that kind of he comes in, he does his job, and for now, he's staying for. We paid him on the cheap, did we not? This I think about 6-7 million a couple of years ago, but in the end, we'll see. What now? We got 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Can I answer the Mercato question or we're not?
Yes, you may answer. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. Answer the Mercato question. As me and Sabrina listening to your wisdom.
Love the Mercato. Everybody knows I love it. And if I would have to grade our Mercato, now we know the YouTube liver.
Yeah.
We made up our own word for people who write in comments on YouTube.
What do we call them?
YouTube liver.
YouTube livers, because there's
multiple,
all these
right?
people over here. Yeah.
So Kwame as a backup or as let's say a good addition to the attacking force, because he had a pretty good game this weekend as well against Fiorentina. I would say that unfortunately we did not do a good job of selling the players that we needed to sell. So the whole Andrea Silva saga, where he was sold at the beginning of the Mercato, and now we were still talking about him till the end. Unfortunately, is not the way I'm pretty sure it's not the way they wanted to fold out, but it did, and that can't happen. I would have appreciated, or I would have liked that they would have done their business earlier, especially with a new coach. And I still think, and please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, we did not address that hole that we have in the midfield where we need someone to take on that general type of role where they can dictate the game. Now, I think that Benassier, I call him Benassier. That's the way I pronounce it.
Sorry, Metzi live on YouTube, he calls him Benassier.
Benassier was great
Yes.
against Brescia. But again, that Brescia game, for some reason, and we were talking about it when we were watching it, he looks like a type of player who needs to have the ball.
Mhm.
But if we're bypassing him all the time, he cannot take on that general role. He could probably be in the next 2 years that general that we were looking for. I don't doubt that. But right now we did not address it. And the gameplay does not address it because they know that we want to give him the ball. So they're gonna go after him. We have to find a way to get him into the game right away. And he will dictate the play. He will control. It seems like he's able to control that. He makes really positive passes. He's not someone who looks for an easy pass. He's going to take a gamble every once in a while to keep that other defensive side honest.
And would you agree, Sabrina, in closing, that we were talking while we were watching Brescia, is that what we saw on the pitch might not have been pretty, but against a top 10 team, I don't think we would have came out with the 3 points on that one. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, I mean, especially compared to last week losing at Udinese, it's good to win against the lower teams because I found a lot of the times in the past, especially in recent years, we struggle against these lower teams. We tend to play down to their level. So especially just having Gianpaolo the second game of the season, the fact that we got a win, I'm not reading too much into the play. Everyone's still trying to get used to each other. So for me, all that really matters is we got the 3 points. It's good heading into the international break, and especially because we have the derby coming up, not when we get back, but the match after. I think the only thing that mattered to this team was getting the 3 points, regardless of how we played.
And that's where we come down to, even though people might tell us that we glass half full all the time, but the 3 punti is the only thing that counted, no matter how ugly they came by. Yes, we missed some chances. Even Brescia did miss their chances too. But in the end, 3 points. Everybody's going to look back at this game 6 months, even 6 months down the road. They're going to see the 1-0 score from over there. So we're gonna have to go
Let's
through all
ask
the.
more a little. I have another question for Sabrina.
Okay.
What this is coming from the Presidente straight to my phone. He bypassed you.
Oh my
It's going
God.
a little bit like Milan. He wants to know your favorite brand of calculator.
Yes.
I don't know. I personally, I guess it's just the way I grew up. I like to play a more defensive, counter-attacking style. I know it's not that pretty to watch anymore, but just for me, I like to be better safe than sorry. So I don't like to, just overextend ourselves and then you're just giving up goals at the end, which might be exciting for the average fan, but I like a pretty safe 1-2-0 win is all right with me.
That's a very good answer, but I don't think you understood Steve's question. Steve, would you like to repeat
Uh-oh.
that? The
He
Presidente.
wants to know your favorite brand of calculator.
Oh, I thought he said calcio. Calculator?
All jokes
Who
aside,
has a favorite brand of calculator?
Presidente does.
Yeah.
I use the BA2 Plus calculator, financial calculator, but at work I just use Excel. I hope that's
Just Excel.
good enough for Presidente.
Your secret is safe with us, Sabrina. But
but that was a good answer for.
that was a good answer.
To not my question. That would be that would have been probably a better question.
She probably said, like,
My
they really
bad.
asking me about calculators. He probably thought that. Sabrina, thank you very much once again for joining us on such short notice. Happy Labor Day to you. And once again, just let us know before you sign off where we can find you on the Twitter machine.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. You can find me at SabriB10 on Twitter. Lots of good conversation, lots of different fans, just having a good conversation about calcio.
And there we go. So thank you very much. And thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Sabrina.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Sabrina, for joining us. And Daniel is asking calculator. Yes, because the President is an
President is
accountant.
an accountant, and so is Sabrina.
Guys, I'm just going to go back to the questions on the YouTube machine. Okay, this is a touch screen. So we had Khaled asking, Rebic signing, we went from Korea, but got Rebic in what looks like a last-minute deal. Do you think he's going to be good for Milan, or just an okay, decent player? I'm sure that question is going to come up on the Twitter, but I think even though it might look like a dollar for 4 quarters kind of change, but he does have that Serie A experience when he was under Fiorentina, maybe physically a bit stronger than Andrea Silva. Other than that, I don't see it as the next coming of Christ, but in the management we trust, Steve, it looks
Yeah.
like
We're not going to sit here and pretend to know what Rebic could bring right away. I would like to see him integrate into the team, take on a position, especially behind the strikers, and just bring just some of that passion. So we talk a lot about Borini and his passion of how he gives it all on his field. From what I've seen, just the small highlights, seems like he's that type of player. Also with Croatia going to the national team right after signing for Milan. So he does play with that heavy-duty stacked Croatian team, getting stuff from Modric and Rakitic. For me, is just a benefit, right? So if he can take and learn from them and adapt it and give maybe what he couldn't give Fiorentina back in the past, and of course age does mature these players a lot, then I'm curious to see what he brings to Milan.
I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Kieran, they're saying, hi guys, thanks from the great podcast from Cape Town, South Africa. Considering Jack is fit, back to his best, so where do you see him and Paquetá fitting in? Doesn't seem Gianpaolo see Paquetá as a central attacking midfielder. It's a good question. People were talking about the Jack and the Paquetá, how the game changed when Paquetá came on. How some people might think that he's not putting on Paquetá for whatever reasons. But yeah, where do they fit, Steve? Is this a great problem to have with the rotation? Because Jack can play, right?
It's a great problem to have when you have a lot of games to play these guys in. We unfortunately don't have a lot of games to play these guys in. So he's gonna have to find the best starting 11, whoever it may be. Paquetá in, Paquetá out. I don't know. Giacomo coming back from injury, I think it's going to be maybe in the second half of the season where we're going to really see his value.
Do you think with these guys he'll rotate between the 4-3-1-2 and the 4-3-2-1?
He looks like someone who makes in-game addition, subtraction. He does make changes within the game. So
which is a good change
from unfortunately Gattuso was not able to do that, kind of stuck to the 4-3-3 whether we're winning or we're losing, and just throwing out attackers sometimes is not the best way to get the result that you're looking for. But he does make in-game adjustments, and I think that that's where we'll see those players. But we only have 3 changes, right? So it's very important that he finds and secures that 11, that Rosa, and then build from there. Who can complement who?
Then Massimo Mincione saying that the transfer market closing up at 6 p.m. Their time, I believe, but it was talking about Kwame. I don't know if you guys can see anything on the internet right now. Hype sure saying hello guys. When should we start to worry about Piontek? Difficult preseason and now a difficult two games for him. And thank you for Sultan Manzuma saying Ben Nasser in Arabic. But unfortunately, Steve is going to pronounce it no matter how he wants it. Right, Steve?
Benassi.
That worry about Piontek? Sorry, guys, I'm going to sound like a broken record. 10 games. I'm not doing anything because let's put it this way: he could score 0 goals in the first 6 games. He scores 2 a game for the last 4. Nobody's going to think about the first 6 games. So again, it's going back to: would you start worrying, Steve, or?
If we have to worry,
he couldn't buy a goal against Brescia.
No,
he could not buy a goal against Brescia.
Look, am I going to start to worry? Probably no. But what I saw against Brescia is like some sort of malocchio or something like that, because someone tweeted, and I forget who it was, but it was fantastic. If he was wearing number 19, those goals would have went in. So like I said, if he would not be getting the chances, I would be worried for a specific reason. Yeah, he's not getting the chances.
Yeah.
Now he's getting the chances, he's not burying them. But against Brescia, the keeper from Brescia stuck out his arm, and you know what? That guy must have a whole lot of power in that arm, because from, let's say, 2 feet out, Piontek really hit it, and he hit his arm, and it just flew out.
And then that ball that was what, 3/4 in.
Yeah.
It's just like
at least spun in the right direction to come out instead of coming in. It's getting better. For me and Piantek, where I worry about, and we were talking about it during the game, watching it, if he's gonna be someone who's going to be that prima punta, who's going to be high up the field and be the target man for everybody, he's gonna need to start winning battles. And the battles that he's not winning, unfortunately, because he's not winning these battles, the refs, when he is getting fouled in that final third, they're kind of looking at it. I'm not saying that they're looking at it as a dive, but they're looking at it as he's looking for something to justify.
Or instead of going like, oh, it's a foul, let me see if it really is it.
Yeah.
It's gonna go like, oh, this is definitely
It's a foul,
diving.
yeah.
Let me see to convince myself that it's actually a foul. But hello from Miami. Hello, one Milan.
Miami,
18,
stay
and
safe, Miami.
Stay safe, Milan. What's that thing called? The hurricane.
Hurricane Dorian.
Dorian. And he likes my AW shirt. Thank you very much. And Kieran said I pronounced as well his name correctly. Well, it's because I pronounced it and not you. Let's go with the Twitter world. Or did you want to call Tommy?
Whatever you want.
So let's go a couple of questions, guys. Then we're gonna call Tommy because he's waiting, obviously.
Are we finishing the YouTube livers?
Oh yeah, we went through all the questions. What should we start? Okay, and then there was the Kwame thing, but nothing.
Kwame, we need the YouTube livers to tell us if it's confirmed or not.
Yeah, but this is a Mercato Madness, as
Yeah,
you like to call it.
madness. I love it.
Greg McDonald is asking, saying, "I'm not opposed to Rebic, and he's a more useful option than Silva at the moment. Paquetá and Leao are the future of this team, though it's important he doesn't take too many minutes away from them." Greg from Glasgow, Scotland. Thank you, Greg. I think it's a very good point to saying it's a useful option than Silva, right? I don't think, let's not kid ourselves. I don't think Rebic is going to be starting any games unless some Coppa Italia's.
He's gonna start some games.
You think he's going to start some games?
Yeah. We need him.
If he goes with the two strikers,
we need him to fulfill what we bought him for. There's no more Castillejo. There's no more. Unfortunately, Castillejo, he's had his chances through the preseason, the first two games. He's just someone that, unfortunately, up here, the soccer gods did not really bestow upon him any of that soccer IQ. And it was obvious against Brescia, and you saw me punch the table live.
Yeah.
Where him and Suso were kind of linking up nicely on the right-hand side.
They were doing everything right.
But he held the ball for much too long, and we lost it. And they came back at us on a counter where a top four team is going to take that counter and it's going to end up in the back of our net. You cannot do that at this level.
No, he needs, like, I don't think
he needs 20 pounds of muscle. That's what he needs. He needs to come and eat at my mom's house for a couple of Labor Days.
Castillejo, as we spoke to you on that Skype call, you got to come over and get some few pounds, but I don't think he's going to be continuing to start. I think with all the different options that are going to be on the bench. Midzi asks, what do we think about Rebic? And then we have Michael Procopio asking the same exact thing. How do you guys feel about the Rebic? Again, guys, we spoke about it a bit before. Other than the experience in Serie A, that might be a slight favorable factor.
I like his passion. I like the passion. It seems like he has that grinta that we're looking for.
But
attitude. I want that attitude. I want that winning mentality attitude.
It is not, at least saying a more physically stronger, a bigger dude. But again, I still like the fact that he's got the Serie A experience. But again, guys, it's prestito secco, right? And Mercato is officially
option to buy.
Option to buy. Well, I'm saying
prestito. 2-year prestito or option to buy.
And Andre Silva, is it going to be like Icardi? He's going to go play for PSG for a year and he's going to come back.
I don't care about Icardi.
So yes, Mr. Inshad saying Mercato is officially closed. Eddie Milanista, hey guys, what do you make of Giampaolo's post-match comments regarding Paquetá's role? What did he mean by less Brazilian and more objective? It's a good question. Do you think he meant stop, hogging the ball or passing more, or what do you think he meant by that?
I don't know. It was a bit of a strange presser, to be very honest with you, because I thought that he was the most direct that we've seen him in the longest time, especially that small little move in the middle of the pitch with a nice shot straight off the post. That's not really being less Brazilian. That's the Brazilian that we want, and the direct type of Calcio player that we want. Really make a move, take a shot on net, and let's go. Maybe a little bit of the actions down at the bottom left-hand corner of the field when we were trying to close off the game. Yeah, but that's what you want him to do, right? You want him to waste some time in the bottom left-hand corner. So I can't really tell you exactly what he meant by less Brazilian and more.
He doesn't hold back, eh?
He doesn't hold back, which is fine, but you got to explain to a guy what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. I can't see it from North America. I hope he can see it from Europe.
We know we're gonna ask guys what he thinks about this. Our good friend Tommy, obviously. Let's see if he answers.
Maybe he's having lunch too.
Well, I gave him the heads up.
Hello.
Good afternoon,
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Tommy.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you, sir?
Good. How's your Labor Day so far?
Very good, very good. Very relaxing.
Very relaxing. But Tommy, we wanted to start asking you, what did you think about Giampaolo's press conference saying that Paquetá has to be a bit less Brazilian and more? Do you think he was taking shots at him? What do you think he meant by that? O non si capisce un cazzo?
I don't know what he meant about that, but the only thing I could say is that Paquetá should have not been on the bench from the start. Paquetá should have played from the get-go.
Yeah, it makes
I don't know why he put Paquetá on the bench. Look, I don't have no idea. But maybe what he's saying is that he plays a bit too much with the ball, and maybe they're not used to that. I have no idea why.
okay.
And if he had to say that to Paquetá, he should have had the same comment to make about Castillejo.
Yeah, exactly. Because
A
Castillejo.
little bit less,
Exactly,
a little bit
exactly,
less
because
Spaniard, a little bit more couch.
Look, at least Paquetá got a fault
Yeah.
on Saturday. Castillejo non ha fatto nulla. Parliamoci chiaro.
And what were your thoughts about the game? I know we watched it together. He was the first one there. I showed up at 11:20 with Khalil. He was already there, coffee in hand. Tommy was waiting for all of us. Take us through your emotions, Tommy. What did you think about the game?
Un primo tempo that actually after the first goal we didn't do much. That's one thing that I've seen. The second half, as soon as Paquetá came in and Piatek came in, il ruolo compressore si è cominciato a vedere. You start seeing that. Look, Piatek has to unblock himself. But one thing I can tell you, it's going to come soon because he took a couple of shots and they were on target.
Yeah.
They weren't off target. They were on target. Unlucky because the goalie did two miracles on two shots. I don't know. One was unlucky. It just bounced off the line. But it's going to come. It's going to come. I think that he just needs a bit more confidence. But it's going to come. He's going to come. He's going to get unblocked.
And
Look, if you think about it, Ronaldo, even last year, it took him 4 games before he got unblocked.
and he got
Maybe
unblocked
we
the
could
last
say we
game.
could have the same.
Now, what do you have to say about the Juve Napoli game? No refereeing in there.
You see how it is. You see how it is. La Juventus vince se non con gli arbitri, vince per culo.
Okay,
E se non vince per culo,
Not
vince
even
per gli
talk to the
altri.
refs anymore.
so it's the refs or it's like look up your ass, right?
But exactly, because look, did you see at the 92 minutes, Koulibaly scored in his own net.
Yes, we saw that.
But there's one thing I can tell you. The defense of La Juventus this year è un colabrodo. È un colabrodo
It's a
fatto di
scuola
merda.
basta.
And it's not going to be a 35-year-old Chiellini who's going to change the things. It ain't going to be him.
So, by the way, guys, that what he meant was
And I said it before, and I said
Springer.
it even this summer, I said it. If Juventus have Sarri's the way he wants them to play, after the 60th minute mark, it will crumble. And exactly what happened against Napoli. 67th minute, 3-1. Within 3 minutes, they scored 3 goals. These guys were out on their feet.
We'll see.
There are no team. There are no team.
We'll see what the
That's
season
that's
goes.
the thing.
But before we let you go, I want to ask you this. We got a question on YouTube from Hypecher. Do Milan benefit from this international break, or does this affect the momentum they gained after the win against Brescia? What do you
There's
think?
that is not a momentum yet. Hey, guys, what you have one defeat and one victory. It's not a momentum yet. Wait. The momentum, you can start talking about momentum once you start winning 3-4 games in a row. Then you can say they're on a roll, they're on a momentum. Now, right now, it's La Costa is a bit too early. I can admit to that, but it's not gonna affect anything.
So we'll see.
Let's just concentrate on bringing back Hernandez in 2 weeks because he's supposed to be back. And let's concentrate on winning the next game. Let's take it one game at a time, guys.
We got Hellas Verona, and then we got the Derby. So we'll see what comes up in 2 weeks' time from here.
Did you hear? Did you hear our friend Icardi today? He signed a contract with Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, because he had basically no
No
choice,
choice.
right? But would you have taken Icardi, Tommy?
My.
You wouldn't have taken.
Somebody who puts these broglio in the dressing room. You cannot have a player like that. And what I think Paris Saint-Germain is going to do, they're going to keep him for a year. They got him at $5 million for this year, and then next year, con diritto di riscatto. That doesn't mean that they're going to buy him. They'll probably give it back to Inter. Here you go. They're probably going to keep him for a year, see if they can win the Champions League with him. But after that, I don't think they're going to keep him. They're going to send him back. Nobody wants a guy like that. A guy that almost brought his whole team in court. Would you rather start taking chances on a guy like that?
He's right, guys. He's right. But Tommy, we'll let you go back probably doing the tomatoes on this fine Labor Day. We're still going to call you next week, and we'll know there's no Milan because we always have things to talk about. And Adriano da Pezzo de Pan on YouTube, he wrote Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice, and Tommy sticks to speak in Italian. He goes, I love it. He goes, don't ever change.
Forza Milan, guys, I'm telling you, quest'anno c'è da godere, my friend. C'è da godere.
Well, we sure hope so. Well,
What a difference a week makes.
What a difference a week makes. And we'll talk to you next week, Tommy. Have a good afternoon.
Well, guys, have a good night. And let's speak next week, and hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll come up with another victory, guys.
Hopefully so. Have a good one, buddy.
Okay. Have a good one, guys.
He sounded a bit out of his
Yeah,
element.
it's
Maybe
too
it wasn't. Maybe too early to start trash talking. But seriously, to that question, you think these 2 weeks is? It's hard to say. Is it a good thing, a bad thing?
This international break is too early to bust or.
Didn't they do the same thing last year, Steve?
Yeah, it's always like that.
It's always.
We know that because we start a little bit later. To be very honest, with this momentum affects more the leagues that start a bit earlier than us. They're like 4 or 5 games in. Yeah, it's a momentum buster if you're winning. But for Milan, 1 win, 1 loss, I don't think so. I'm just these guys play a lot of football, guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at least all of the guys that are not going, I think we only have 2 international call-ups, if I'm not mistaken. So most of the team will probably stay. Rebic, no, I know he just went back to the Croatian national team, but the guys like the Leaos, just all the new signings, even guys like Bonaventura, I think like just having time to train with the coach and
good 2 weeks for Hernandez.
Yeah, exactly. MC76, hi guys. I like what Benacer brings to the team, but I like Tonali. No secret, we never replaced Pirlo. I hope Maldini continues his interest in him as a backup to Benacer, or even a more advanced regista trequartista role. Michael Pert from Western Australia. Michael, Tonali, but I think at the prices that we're asking for a guy like Tonali, and you want to get a guy like Benacer, obviously you want to stick to the Italian talent, but right now it was Benacer because he's still 19 years old and Tonali's still young, but at this point, unless you...
But watching the Brescia game, Michael?
Yes, Michael.
You saw a bit of Tonali's youth, right? A little bit of misplaced passes, a little bit of, there's just something that's missing. I think his best move this year was to stay at Brescia.
Yeah.
I think a good season in Serie A, and Brescia looks like a team that's a little bit more dynamic than the other ones that came back up. Fortunately, Lecce was terrible.
Yeah.
Verona, not very good either. But Brescia does seem to be one of those teams that comes up from Serie B where the gap is not that big. But and I would like to see him link up with Balotelli. Hopefully that partnership
Maybe that works,
works
right?
out, and he grows. And then yes, of course the price tag is going to be a little bit more. But yeah, I'm interested in this player as well. But he is a project. It's going to be a lot on Milan to start grabbing players like that to work on a project with.
Christian Espinoza asks a very good question, Steve. And maybe to you guys on YouTube, maybe get some of your answers. If you could bring back one player from an illustrious history, let's say back in their prime, and put them on this team, one guy, to help us out at this point in time, who would it be?
Kaká.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like, yeah, Kaká. I was just like in that midfield and just to open up the play and just to draw those 2-3 players against him. And I would definitely have to go with Kaká. Maybe more recently, Ibrahimovic. Imagine what would be Ibrahimovic in his prime, Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
But a legend, he asked for a legend. Seedorf?
He would help.
He
Anybody
would
would help right now.
Definitely, but Kaká, yeah, no, Kaká, definitely. I like that question.
The real player, and I know this Christian Espinoza and everybody on Milan Twitter is going to hate it,
Yeah.
but the real player to bring back to adjust all this is Pirlo.
Even though I
Whether
still have
you
him
hate
over
it
here,
or
Piero.
not, that's the player that will do the best.
Tipa Baroni, good day, boys. No question from you. Want to give you an update. Went to Udinese and Brescia games. Also had a training ground experience.
Good for
Lucky
him.
enough to them to look at dinner before the game and tour. Romagnoli also gave me his training jacket. Good for you, buddy. And yes, thank you for sharing all that stuff. And I just wanted to guys to read you a message we got from our friend Colin Rennington. He was at the game, and here's what he writes, guys. Hey guys, just can't wait for a podcast later. Just back from Milan. Just wanted you to know we met with Curva Sud as we normally do at Piazza Axum outside gate 14 of San Siro. The Brescia Ultras were there too. I have to say the two groups got on very well, drinking and singing together, the way football supporters should be. That's why they had the Gemalaggio choreography. Didn't see it until afterwards, though. Anyways, apart from the Hakan goal, the game was a bit limp from what I could see. Thank God the transfers are now closed. Rebic, haven't really seen him, but I heard he's good. And he sent us a picture from over there. Thank you, Colin, very much for that message. And it's nice. It's like it's not all violent over there, guys, in Italy, but pretty cool to hear, like that the ultras were together at the game, and they take the pilgrimage, I think, every couple of games. They take the train or the plane. So
That's what Serie A should be writing about.
yeah,
And that's what my comment back to Colin was. Unfortunately, they're going to look at stupidities like what happened in Cagliari, where I'm not even going to give it the time of day, even though it happened against the Snakes. But, we always said there's always a bad apple, right?
Mhm.
But what do we do when there's a bad apple? You take it out and you enjoy the rest of the good apples.
Is that the way it goes?
Well, that's what I do it. If there's a bag of apples and one is rotten,
Yeah.
take out the bad one and then we enjoy the rest of the good apples. So Serie A, instead of sending out stupidity about piracy and shit like that,
Yeah.
why don't you go after the racists and why don't you handle them right away so that all the other good apples can enjoy the game and we don't have stupidity like this happening. And you know what? It doesn't only happen in Italy. The EPL, the Chelsea player missed a penalty shot, was destroyed on Twitter and everything. Manchester United, Pogba. He's a world champion. He's a World Cup champion. He missed a penalty shot. It happens. Destroyed. By his own fans. So just get them out. The social media sites, instead of blocking me and Vinny because we played a song that might be copyrighted, well, go after the stupid people who are racist.
It's a good point. Facebook Frank, better game than last week, but did you notice that once Piontek and Paquetá came on, the offensive picked up? Yes, we did. And also, Benaceta was a great sight in the midfield. Rebic coming in would be a great improvement. Also, there was some serious Achta and Cagliari. I don't know, like there was some racist chants against Lukaku.
Yeah, when he was taking a penalty shot. But you know what? It's not the first time that it happened. So people address it, and you know what? Frank from Serie A Sit Down had a great tweet. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to even retweet this stuff because I don't even want it on my timeline. And I took the same stance as Frank. You know what? I don't want this on my timeline. I want a story like Colin just put up.
Yeah.
I want to say, hey, the Ultras, instead of the Ultras, who are apparently very bad and very violent
Mhm.
people,
Yeah.
were able from two clubs have a decent meetup where they exchange pizza, I think.
Some drinks, probably.
Pizza and drinks, whatever. And you know, our Coro had a little piece of brescia inside. That's the gemaleo that he
Yeah.
was talking about. That's what I want to hear. That's what should be sent out. Not give more press to these people in Cali, where it's not the first time that it happened. Say it's the first time, who cares? But is it Cagliari the problem? No, because it happened at Lazio, it happened with Milan, it happened with Inter, it happens with Juve, it happens with all of them. Can't just point on Cagliari. It's a cultural thing. We're stuck in the 1800s over here. Let's get out of it. Let's
Instead of concentrating Serie A on making that horrible new logo, it looks like that upside. Looks
upside
like
down vagina.
it looks like DDP's. They're like bang,
Diamond
but it's
Dollar
like
page.
oh, you know about Diamond Dollar's page. Almiro Delgado from the Netherlands. He reached out from Facebook. Hey guys, am I the only one who thinks loaning Andre Silva out like this was a dumb move?
No.
Wait, hear me out. I'm talking about the fact that he's loaned out for 2 seasons, while his contract runs out at the end of the loan, June 2021. And what the matter are you saying? Maybe probably because what if he becomes like
because
a
if they
superstar?
decide to send him back, his price value will have gone down.
Or what if he goes crazy up and then you never got to re-sign him and then you lose him for absolutely
Well,
nothing?
we'll use him for whatever the obligo de riscatto is, which is 25 million, 28 million, whatever.
But still a very good point.
It's a swap of loan deals. You know, for the Frankfurt coach to come out and on Twitter, I didn't read the article. I just saw it quickly saying that he has never seen something like this before. He doesn't understand why it happened. He seems to be a little bit puzzled by this move as well.
Yeah.
So if the coach of the team that Andrea Silva is going to is puzzled, doesn't look too positive for Andreas. And there was a miraculous, the Virgin Mary touched his knee and made him pass his physical again today. He was going to fail another physical, apparently. Every time this guy could play 90 minutes, but when we have to sell him, Vinny, and he has to go do a physical, there's a tendon problem. We don't know where his tendon is, but there's a tendon problem.
Alessandro at Eggs and Pancakes.
Eggs and pancakes.
Who is Milan's top goal scorer in the 2019-2020 season?
Piontek, no?
Piontek. For me, it's like who else would I have to predict on that one, or is it going to be multiple guys at 7-8 goals? Now Piontek's huge blocker, guys. He's gonna get him
She's
blocked.
broke. He needs a little bit of brioche to take out the latch in the stomach, and everything's gonna shoot out of his ass. He's gonna be okay.
And he asked if Hennessy can sponsor him, Forza Milan. Now that's Hennessy. That's we do Grap.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
We want Poli.
Again, ask everyone on the podcast, do we need any more Troyas on the team? And better yet, ask your fan base, what kind of sick Troyas are you going to doubt on leader Maldini? Come on, man. Our team looks legit, top 5 in team. Fuck the haters. He's going on a rampage.
Yeah,
here.
good for him. Eggs and pancakes. Someone fucked up his pancakes today. That's for sure.
Frank the Tank, he says, great to see Benacer play. He's real class, and I got moist watching him play.
Whoa, Frank. This is a PG-13 podcast here. Yes, we do swear from when
But you got moist.
So you got moist in there. We usually have moist for like no panettone or sponge cake, but moist on Benacer.
Finally, you got some quality midfield. What were your thoughts on this first full game? As always, keep up the great work. We spoke about it from over there. A little side note to our friend, we completely forgot to mention him at the beginning, Richard Carmen,
yeah.
from the Serie A Sit Down podcast.
Wow, we mentioned Frank before Richard.
And Richard
is here.
Richard, you screwed everything up for us. And now let me explain. Because you reached out to Presidente through social media. It's like, hey, I'm in Montreal. Maybe I can pass by the studio and be a guest. Now, as you can see, Richard, you would have to be about 67 pounds to fit here between me and Steve because we don't have the equipment. And then Presidente found out that he's been paying for a studio rent and we've been pocketing the money because this, as you can see, this is not studio. Richard, we wish we could accommodate, but Labor Day, this is in my house. I'm sure you're not staying in the East End, but thank you for thank you for reaching out.
House, but the studio is legit.
The studio, yes, the studio is legit, and we're definitely going to be talking this week because we're going to go back to regular kind of guests every single week, especially when it's international break. Andrei from Milan fan. Hello, guys. All kinds of greetings from the CIS community. CIS.
It's better than CIA, that's for sure.
Keep it up. You are the best. Pronounced with Tony's accent. Please tell your opinion about Gianpaolo Ball. Let's imagine that ACM adopted. Pros and cons, Steve. Please be detailed.
Gianpaolo Ball. I don't like the Sadi Ball, Conte Ball, Gianpaolo Ball, Ancelotti Ball. This is football, guys.
We have a coach. I think we've spoken about this multiple times where you have an Allegri, which is a fine tweaker, will go into a situation and try to fine tweak. A guy like Klopp, a guy like Conte, and hopefully a guy like Gianpaolo will look at what he has and try to make the best of what he got. Conte probably at Juventus his first year is probably not because he has the pull to ask for the players that he wants.
Yeah, he has the pull and he has the pedigree to ask for what he wants. Pedigree is also a wrestling move that used to be used by Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
It's still being used by him.
Still being used.
Colin says hello. He's there on the YouTube. Great to
Colin,
see him live.
good.
So now we have the squad going
So,
forward. It's going
Back to that question.
Yes.
Back to that question from the CIS there, the CIA.
Andre from Ukraine.
Andre. For me, guys, I want to see them play football. I want to see them play exciting football. I want them to, like I mentioned before, we need to get our midfield involved in the game. They need to be part of that process for us to get out of trouble and get away from the pressings of the Brescia. You know, you saw Juve against Napoli in the first half. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Hey, Juve was inside Napoli shorts for the first 60 minutes of that game.
God.
Inside their short. Like they were dangling Mertens' balls inside there.
It's a PG-13 show. Steve.
I don't care. But that's how that pressing was done. And it was something to watch. And I hate Juve, but it was something to watch.
Yeah.
You saw Inter yesterday against Cagliari, a little bit less, but Conte demands a lot. It's all about the pressing and how you get out of the pressing. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a super calcio guru here. It's all about that. It's how you get away from it, how you absorb that pressure, how you get out of it. Milan, unfortunately, needs that time to build up some kind of team chemistry where they're going to be all on the same page and they're going to get out of it.
Last question. Bonaventura fan from Minnesota is asking, when do we expect him to be back in the starting lineup? Who knows? Maybe,
I don't think he's going to be in the starting lineup.
Me
sorry.
neither. I don't think so. Maybe if, God forbid, somebody gets hurt or anything like that, I think he is fit to play.
Would
But
I-
I'm going to take a
Okay, hold on. I want to retract that. Would I rather see Bonaventura than Çalhanoğlu? Yes.
But then he goes to score. Çalhanoğlu on the last game.
It's fine, but that doesn't prove nothing to me. Would I rather see Bonaventura than Castillejo? Yes.
That's true. That's a
Would
very
I
fine
rather
point.
see a 60-minute substitution of Bonaventura instead of Borini? Yes.
So we got to go with those one there. Guys, so we're going to start wrapping up soon. If you have any last questions on YouTube, I see like 24 you guys, 25 you guys. Thank you very much for viewing. The brioches and the indigestions of the week. I'm going to go with my indigestion of the week, Steve. The player, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, from Atalanta, that basically after 3 or 4 weeks, Skirtle, decided to leave Atalanta because Gasparini's trainings are too hard.
Wow.
That it's too demanding for him. They're saying some family things to him, but that it's too demanding for him and the whole training or anything like that. So that one is like, even if it's not true, how do you let that get out? It's
We
pretty
agree
much-
that the indigestion cannot be the racist stuff because we don't want to give them prime
No,
time TV.
no, because it's how about you, Steve? before I-
Indigestion of the week is not going to be Milan related for me today, but it's going to be Napoli related. How they shit the bed against Juve in game day 2 for the first 60 minutes is beyond me. And not only that, and I'm going to say, you know what? People are going to say, yeah, but they came back, Steve. They came back. They still lost. I know they lost crap. That's a shit way to lose. But you are going to be Naples. You want to be Naples that's going to contend for the Serie A Scudetto against Juventus, the best team. Game day 2, where game day 2, you're not at your best and they're not at their best. But hey, was Juve at their best for those first 60 minutes?
My
and
goodness.
Napoli's body language was terrible.
especially on that first goal.
Insigne was terrible. Mertens was terrible. Fabian Ruiz was terrible. Koulibaly.
That whole back line,
Manolas.
everybody.
Everybody. Di Lorenzo looked shocked. The keeper, Mert, he looked like he was on his game. Made a humongous save on Kadira. Guys, you could say, hey, they came back. Kadira scores that goal and makes it 3-0 in the first half. You guys are killed. Then Kadira hits the post, looks like Diego Maradona for 2 seconds, and hits the crossbar. Napoli's toast. It's 4-5-0. You want to be Naples and you want to be respected, and I see all the Twitter stuff. We are the anti-Juve. You show up to those games. Because to be very honest, it's going to be hard for me to say it, but the team that's going to give Juve the most run for their money, I think, is going to be Inter.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
you know what? To Inter's favor, that they were able to go home with 6 points after they played a crap game against Cagliari. Look at the game that Juve played against Napoli and say, you know what? When we show up against Juve, J Stadium, or they come to San Siro, we better have our A game.
Anthony wanted to ask you if you wanted to come help with the last 6 bushels of tomato. He's probably doing the tomato sauce on this label.
Guaranteed. Super SPAC.
Huh? Super AC.
Super AC.
Anthony.
Anthony.
Okay.
Tomatoes. Let's just buy 45,000 bushels
And we'll make
and
the
make
tomato
it
sauce for everybody.
for the year.
Presidenta's indigestion was Luis Enrique's 9-year-old daughter sadly passes away due to bone cancer. Suso gave his condolences on Twitter, and a few keyboard warriors throw insults Suso's way. What is wrong with people? These folks are not fans, they're imbeciles, obviously. But again, we don't want to give these people their attention, so we're not even mention names. This Brioche is Milan's win on Saturday felt good, and the cherry on top of Sunday was the latest update on the Milan app, which now gives us fans the opportunity to listen to the audio of the game in English or Italian. Another small gesture that benefits fans abroad. Yeah, I actually tried it out, and you can actually listen to, which is pretty cool if ever you're on the go. So getting those notifications. How about you, Steve? Your feel-good moment of the week, your brioche of the week.
To be very honest, the feel-good moment of the week is just how competitive the Serie A is going to be. Love it that okay, not love it, but hey, Juve has 6 points, Inter has 6 points, Torino has 6 points. The derby yesterday was fought out. Derby dei Pali, they called it yesterday on Sky Sport. I found it very funny. That was a good game. There's just good quality soccer being played, except for a stupid little blemish in Cagliari. No real, it's match day 2, but no real controversy except for, guess what, VAR again.
Yeah,
but let's give Calcio a chance, right?
Yep.
And us as people that we tweet, we do the podcast, we do the Instagram. Let's stop reacting to these people that say Calcio's boring. Let them watch Calcio and let them make a decision for themselves. Because if you watch Calcio the first 2 match days of Serie A this year and you say it's boring, you have some serious problems. You don't know what Calcio is.
Good feel-good moment. I know it wasn't much, but just seeing the players embrace each other after that John Noble goal, you just saw the feelings in their face, like not a weight off their shoulder, but okay, we got this. Let's get it. Let's turn around this corner and let's keep on going. That was pretty good feel-good moment. Colin says it's sad to agree with Steve. Inter are the ones to topple Juve. Yeah, it is, Colin. Adriano, the banner that the fans held up at San Siro for Mihalovic was beautiful to see as well. Another fine. That's Adriano Pezzo di Pane.
Yeah.
And
everybody had their banner, right? So I saw the banner from the Roma fans. I saw the different banners of coaches and teams, and where he's coached and where he's played. Held at the banner, so that's we're reeling it.
Look at the Liban Youssef calling it Varfanculo. I like that.
Varfanculo.
We're gonna have to go with that, guys. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. Thank you very much for listening in. Podcast audio will be going up.
Whoa. We got to show everybody the 120 Milan.
So, guys, this has been sent to us from Radio Rossonera. For anybody that's just listening, jump on the YouTube, have a look. This is going to be a magazine that they will be giving up every quarter. That's why they call it 120 for 120 days. Beautiful stuff inside. Very well put together. A lot of stories, photos, historical things, but we would like to tell you what the prices are with the shipping.
We have absolutely no idea.
We have no idea, and we're not going to be here to lie to you. So as soon as we get an information,
120 Milan, beautiful book in English.
Give it another zoom in.
Another zoom in.
Give it a zoom in. Give it a zoom in.
Move the table.
There we go. See you guys. Oh, zoom in. Oh, there we go, guys. That's all handmade.
And can I give a shout out?
Of course.
Shout out to neighbor, friend, pizzaiolo extraordinaire,
Mina Raiola.
No. Anthony Diorio from Pizzeria Vesta, who sent me.
I saw that.
Yeah, beautiful. So look at this, guys. I'm going to paint the perspective here of me eating. Okay? Home alone, kids in bed, watching John Wick 3 assassinate all kinds of people. Wife comes home from dinner out with her friends, and what does she present me with?
I saw it.
Pizza from Pizzeria Vesta in Montreal. Fantastic. Milan weekly special. Forza Milan at the bottom. I'm going to tweet out the picture.
I saw you put
A
on the video.
supreme pizza. This pizza had everything. It had sausage. It had pepperoni. Homemade pepperoni, by the way. Cheese. Oh, garlic crust on the outside.
But the fact that was written Milan
Ah,
Weekly
that
Special.
sold me right away.
So
Sold me
thank
right
you.
away. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you to Anthony.
Vinny now is
No,
for his pizza.
My pizza buddy says he wants us to go to
Yeah, we're going to do it there.
Guys, ovunque e sempre. Thank you very much, everybody listening. South Africa.
South Africa.
South
the
Africa,
safari,
man.
the jungle. Hey, Mike, is that a crocodile?
There's no
No.
jungle in South Africa. Cape Town, the World Cup. I'm sure there's safaris.
But
that we
there's a
can go.
safari, no?
Yeah,
There's no
for sure.
jungle in South Africa.
No, it's mostly populated South Africa. Don't you remember Cape Town,
My
where
bad,
there was
my
the
bad. I failed.
Kieran, let us know about the way you live, if there's any safaris or jungles or lions or elephants. Comunque sempre.
Forza Milan.
Ciao, guys. Oh, watching from Kuwait. Thank you.
Kuwait. Wow.
Ciao. Well, actually, you could stop from over there. Yusuf, thank you. Watching from Kuwait, guys. It's really thank you very much for doing that. We're gonna try to do this every single Monday when we regularly do a podcast. But we'll let you guys know to see if we can actually arrange it that we do it a bit earlier. I know in Kuwait it's probably
What are you doing up in
early morning. I know in South Africa it's probably maybe 8 hours away. So guys, we're gonna try to do our best, and it will be there on YouTube for you guys to watch. Again, thank you very much.
Forza Milan.
We'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you next week, even though we're off. Ciao, guys.